Hello again, this is Harry, your guide to your spiritual awakening journey. And in this episode, I want to talk about spiritual ego and what does it look like? How does it show up within you? The saddest way it shows up, in my opinion, it's just really frustrating to see how people who just awakened and suddenly see everybody who's not awakened yet or have not got to that place yet that they are at, um, see them as less, see them as whatever, see the stuff on like sheeple or people who don't understand or don't know. Just because you gain some knowledge doesn't make you superior. And then once you start realizing that we're all on that journey, some people are a little ahead of the curve, a little further down that same path of spiritual awakening and spiritual journey, and some have just started it. And that's okay. It doesn't make them less in any way. Doesn't make you more just because you suddenly are no more. It's the same artificial difference that we see when we see a third grader taunt a second grader just because, oh, you don't even know how to do this kind of stuff and this kind of stuff. It's just petty. It's ego. It's just one way that your ego is trying to establish your superiority. It's not a good thing. So whenever you start feeling that, oh, I'm above this, or I'm more than this, and we've all done that. I'm guilty as charged for doing that, especially in my first, say, 10 years of my spiritual awakening, until you learn that lesson. And it takes some time. But if you start seeing people as just some people are on the journey, some people are not on that journey, and they're probably not going to be on that journey at all. They have a different journey. And different journeys, the different spiritual journeys look differently. And there's not one path that is better than the other. As long as it brings the best in you and raises you to another level, that's good. Don't limit yourself in this way of just thinking it's just about me being better and better than other people. As long as you start doing that, that is the competitive nature that we might have, but it is ego based. If you let go of that and see, I'm on my path. Sometimes you encounter people who are also on their path, and that's really joyful and beautiful. But let go of the need to compare and contrast and see who's better, who's more, who's doing this better, who is more talented at this, who has more psychic gifts open, who does better channeling, who does better. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. It also will bring you down when you start seeing people who are doing more than you and like, oh, I'm not there yet. Ugh. And the whole point is not to reduce your vibration. It defeats the purpose to do so. Let go of comparisons. It's very hard, I know. But let go of that. You are on your journey, and that's your journey, no one else's journey. And there's no other journey that is exactly the same. We all have our baggage, our the way we were brought up, where we come from, our own genes and our own personal inclinations to certain things or not, preferences. So it's okay. If somebody really likes their crystals, that's okay. If that brings them joy, unless they become dependent on it. And that becomes detrimental in some way. But if you start liking, if you like this path, the Buddhist path, or you like the Hindu path, or you like the agnostic path, or if you just like no star seeds, you like different things, it doesn't matter. And none of them are exclusive of another. So remember that. And really try to let go of that need to be more than, and really feel that you are just another fellow being that is there on the path with another person. And your journeys might converge for a while, friendships, connections, and they might diverge for a while. And that's okay too. So let go of that and just focus on your journey and improving yourself and reflecting on what you are and how you can improve on so many ways, because our limiting beliefs that we develop about ourselves, self-doubt, and all those things bring that need to be more than. So when you start taking care of your ego and on the spiritual ego too, let go of that and really work on yourself. What makes me feel more? what makes me feel, what gives me the need to be more than. Because once you explore that, you'll start seeing whether you are working on your shadow, on some wounds in some places, maybe in school, when you're on your childhood, that you needed to prove that you are more than. Our childhoods were very, school environments are very artificial in their structure. If you think about it, to put hundreds of people the same age, they're bound to compare each other. This one's a better athlete. This one's a better student. This one's a better this. This one. It's how we are built. But in our natural environment, if you think about a small village, it does not that much competition. It's less on steroids, you can say. So letting go of that way we were brought up to try and be better than, or even like you can say, like still in the corporate world, you need to show that you are better than to in order to get advanced. So all that stuff is a whole mental structure, a world scheme that needs to be released slowly and healthily. And part of that is that spiritual ego, and thinking that just because you read some books and you have a certain knowledge, or you saw some stuff on YouTube, it makes you more than. It does not. It's just knowledge. How do you interpret it? How do you translate it into being? How do you shift a way of being? And I'll give you another example. You see those people who call themselves peace, or call themselves or trying to really bring that element into their life, but they're not peaceful at all. Or they think, oh, I remember I had a client, I'll tell you that story because that's funny. The client are like, I'm probably a lot more spiritual than you are. That she said that to me. And you're probably not even close to where I am. And I had to laugh because it was interesting that my guides were telling me just that day of how to not take it personally. And people say that because it's just their way of seeing the world, their way of interpreting the world and thinking of themselves. Now, in other ways, she was very spiritual, lived in communities, in monasteries and different things like that, very deep into the spiritual part. But in other ways, she was far from it, emotionally, mentally, and physically. How to bring and integrate all this. So there was a big discrepancy between her spiritual world and her personal world. And that gap is what we're all working on, and integrating and synthesizing and bring it all into being. So know that, and don't let that, oh, I know a lot more. Okay, it's just knowledge. How do you really bring it to be? And how do you become a better version of yourself? And spiritual ego is not it, because it is, again, making you feel that you are more than, or making other people feel that they're less than, because just they're on a different path, or just a few steps behind on the same path. Okay, so let go of that, and put some comments in. What do you feel more as a spiritual ego? And maybe a topic you wanted me to talk about. And I would love to do that. Okay? Okay, so talk to you soon. Be well. Take care.